I've been in this industry my entire life, grew up in it, witnessed all the problems, the challenges, and things like that. And over the past 5 years, I've really developed this list of do's and don'ts in farming. And inside today's video, we're going to touch base on each one of them. All right, so the first don't here that I see a majority of family farm operations in this country doing on a regular basis is they don't update their financials as often as they should. Now, the problem with this is that, again, a majority of people are just updating their financials, meaning their balance sheet and their cash flow projections one time per year, if at all. I'm finding out for some banks because they're not requiring it and they're doing it maybe once every 3 years, which is a problem all on its own. But a majority of people are just doing that one time per year. And now the problems that are going to come from doing this is really specifically tied to the cash flow, because most banks today are requiring you to put together an annual cash flow projection. And guys, that is nothing but a big fat guess. You are not going detailed enough when it comes to doing that. And the thing is, though, is that when you put together that annual cash flow projection, you're looking at it to get your operating line of credit renewed, and then you're not looking at it again. And the question for you is how many things are changing in your operation from January 1st to December 31st? You have heard me say that probably 100 times by now, but it's the truth. And this is where people lose tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars that bleed through the cracks inside their operation because they're only looking at their cash flow projections one time per year. Now, from a balance sheet perspective, the problem that exists with only updating this one time per year is we live in a very volatile economy, which means the asset value of all your assets on that balance sheet is fluctuating much more frequently than it was 10 or 20 years ago. And from a current asset position where you have your investment in crops and your crop and feed inventory and stuff like that, those values are adjusting all the time. And this is going to tie obviously to your operating line of credit. And a majority of people, they're not tracking their operating line of credit at the level they should be because they're not updating their balance sheet on a regular basis. Now, the opposite of not updating your financials leads us to what you should be doing as a leader inside of your family farm operation, which is updating your financials on a monthly basis. This is what we push every single one of our customers in Legacy Farmer to do. And the biggest reasons are when you are doing this, and I mean updating your balance sheet one time per month, and then also updating your cash flow projections. And by that, we mean we're not doing just an annual cash flow projection. Everybody inside of Legacy Farmer using our software called Farmer Metrics is putting together monthly cash flow projections. And not only do we just look at the projections, but once that month passes, say January, for example, and we complete the month of January, our customers are coming back in and putting in what their actuals were for January as well. And we are comparing side by side. This is what I projected was going to happen in the operation. This is what actually happened. Now, from just developing skill sets and really learning about yourself as a business owner and really how your business operates here, this is massive because you are going to start to learn again how you make decisions. What are the wrong decisions that you've made? You're just going to be able to start to find these holes and these gaps here that again have caused people to lose tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars bleeding out the bottom of their operation because they're not tracking their numbers at the level of detail that they need to be. The other thing this is going to allow you to do though as well is track your operating line of credit balance throughout the year and be able to project out exactly when you're going to max out so that you can plan accordingly today versus getting caught with your pants down in the middle of harvest when your operating line of credit's maxed out. And now you're past due on the bills. You're trying to call the bank to get them to extend your operating line of credit or increase it. And what do you think they're asking for? Updated balance sheets and cash flows at that time. You don't have time to do that. So it just causes obviously all these massive problems inside the operation that a majority of people don't have time to deal with. And I'm telling you, if you are just proactive like our customers are and use our software Farmer Metrics, you are going to be so much more on top of your numbers and to be able to prevent yourself from these mistakes happening inside of your operation. All right, the next don't that we're going to talk about, and this is a little bit more of a tougher one here, is don't take counsel from people that have not walked the journey that you are walking. Okay, and what do I mean by this? A majority of people look at their banker as their business partner, and I am not knocking on bankers. I used to be an ag banker. Just so you know, I'm not trying to knock on bankers. What I'm talking about is I am not going to take counsel or advice from somebody who has not walked the path that I am walking. Majority of your bankers now, they may have no problem giving you a loan for $2 million to go buy this real estate. But the thing is though, is that when I'm trying to look for business advice on how to scale and grow an operation or grow a business in general, there's a certain weight that comes with that. There's a level of responsibility. If I am taking counsel from somebody, it is from another business owner that may be further ahead in their journey than what I am when it comes to building that business. Your banker They're there for a reason, they're there for a purpose, but they are not there to give you advice on how to handle a business that's doing $5 million or $10 million a year in revenue with a team of 15 people and all that weight and that responsibility. If they have not built a type of business like that themselves, it doesn't have to be in the same industry, but just building a business so that they understand the weight and the responsibility that comes with that, I am not taking counsel from them. And so majority of bankers have not done this. When I was an ag banker, for example, I had people asking me questions and relying on me to guide them on $500,000 or $1 million decisions. I was not qualified at that time to be doing that. But again, though, this is where we give bankers, our local small town bankers, this ego that makes them think that they can put their thumb on you and that they are the ultimate authority. And it's just not the case, guys. And again, a majority of bankers are good people. They're there for a reason. They're there for a purpose. But this whole line around, we want to be your business partner, is just a load of shit. And the reason for this is because if they were truly your business partner, they wouldn't be loaning you money. They would be signing the documents on your LLC or your business with you and taking the actual amount of risk with you. Their risk is really non-existent because if you go under, you're filing bankruptcy anyway. So again, this isn't knocking bankers at all, guys. I want to make that very clear here. It's just making sure that you're surrounding yourself and taking counsel from people that have walked the journey that you're walking, that have built a business themselves, that know what it's like to write a $200,000 check or have $1 million in debt or have a team of 10 people that they're trying to lead here. Now, I'm not saying that I'm the one that's qualified to lead everybody that's to that level. There's certain levels of business that I still have to get to that I will not counsel people on if I have not reached their level, right? If I don't understand what they're going through at that level, it's so different in running a business with 3 people up to 10 people, up to 30 people, going from 500,000 in revenue to 2 million to 5 million to 10 million. I haven't gotten to experience all that yet. So I'm not going to lead somebody through something that I have not lived through myself. And that's why one of the core values inside of Legacy Farmer is learn, live, lead. I have never, and we will never, lead our customers through something or through a process or through a system or through a training or through a strategy that we have not implemented and proven out ourselves. And that's such an important core value for us here at Legacy Farmer as well. And it should be, honestly, for you, but it should be for the people that are counseling you as well. So not only should you not take counsel from your banker, but that includes, guys, and this is where it gets even tougher, other family members. That's tough as well. But the reality is I don't take counsel from, my parents or siblings or cousins or aunts or uncles or whatever it is, if they are not at the level of business that I am, right? And that's, again, not knocking them. It's just I'm only going to take counsel from people that have been down the journey that I am going down so I can make sure I'm getting thoughtful advice back from them and I can move forward in my business that way. Now, the opposite of that don't is obviously to choose your advisors wisely, guys, and choose the people that you're surrounding yourself with wisely. Now, if you think that you are surrounding yourself with the right people in your community and stuff like that, I get a lot of people, they want to find those people that are close to home and stuff. But guys, the majority of the time, that's just not the case. The people around you, you don't have this level of trust in them ultimately, or they may not have your best interest at heart. That's why with Legacy Farmer, it's worked really well because our customers are spread clear across the country, right? From California clear up to Delaware. A majority of them are located in the Midwest, but they're hundreds of miles apart. So there's no, kind of like underlying interest here. They're not trying to take advantage of each other. They're literally sharing what's working and not working in business in an effort to help this other individual through that journey, right? And everybody inside of our network are at different levels or stages inside of their business. And some of them are qualified to answer and lead questions that somebody, not at their level yet may have. And some of them aren't, and that's okay. That's why we're all in this and we're all learning and sharing and growing together, which is massively, massively important when it comes to this industry, because this type of information that we talk about in Legacy Farmer on a regular basis is not available in the public very well, right? Because majority of people inside of these small communities want to keep their information close to their chest and not really share their cards or expose their cards to any other farmers or ranchers around them, because at the end of the day, they look at them as competitors. We don't do that in Legacy Farmer. Everybody here is wanting to share valuable information that's going to help bring the next person up so that we can all win together. All right, guys, the next don't here is don't rely on hope and prayer as a strategy. I cannot even count the number of times that people have come into Legacy Farmer or, we've talked to people on the phone over the years that their only strategy is really just, putting a crop in the ground and hoping and praying that God brings everything to them and that everything works out. Now, I'm not saying to not be religious or not have faith here and not trust that God is going to bring everything to you the exact way he should, because I truly believe he will. But the thing is, though, is that I don't want anybody relying on hope and prayer as a strategy when it comes to running their business because of how many variables we have that exist in the marketplace today. And this strategy here, and to be honest, a lot of people, they start to use it as an excuse. I'm just going to live on hope and prayer. That's an excuse, and that is most of the time their unwillingness to really face the brutal facts inside of their business destroy their ego a little bit, or at least bring down the walls that their ego puts up, and really look at how can they better their business? How can they master their numbers? How can they get more structured, more organized, and no longer making careless decisions built on hope and strategy, and start making sound and strategic financial decisions based on the facts that the numbers are showing us. So now kind of the opposite of don't rely on a strategy of hope and prayer is to get your stuff structured, right? The do that you should be doing here is getting your stuff structured and getting organized and really mastering your finances and really just waking up and exposing all your weaknesses and accepting them for what they are, submitting to them and going and taking action to fix them and solve them. There's a reason I believe that God exposes every weakness that every person has, because he is trying to wake us up to go out and take the necessary action to fix that weakness and turn it into a strength. And what we've learned in Legacy Farmer, again, with talking to over 1,800 family farm operations over the years, is that there's a massive, massive gap when it comes to finances and financial knowledge inside of this country. And a majority of people, again, are living in this world of hope and prayers or strategy versus sound strategic strategies put together, because they're structured, organized, and they're doing this based off of what the facts of the numbers that they're looking at. All right, guys, the last don't that we're going to talk about here is don't make lifelong decisions based off of other people's promises. And in this situation, I'm talking about you, if you are the kid or the son or daughter that is coming back to the family operation and choosing to dedicate your entire life to building this operation based off of the promises of your parents. Again, this is a common occurrence inside the industry. If you haven't had to go through this, good for you. I'm super happy. That is very rare, but a lot of kids and a lot of people are having to go through this. And when I'm talking kids, I'm not talking just 20-year-olds. When I'm referring to these people, I'm talking to people we've talked to on the phone that are in their 40s or 50s, and they've been sitting around the operation for 20 to 30 years, raised their family there, their spouses stayed there because of this empty promise that they received way back when to come back to the operation, that they would get to take over responsibility. They'd be able to inherit assets at a certain age. They'd be able to really start building this thing and taking over this family legacy and building it to kind of become their own at some point in their life. And it just hasn't happened yet. There is so many problems that come here. And this one situation here destroys trust within a family. It raises the level of resentment between parents and their children massively, because the kid is just looking back at the last 10 to 20 years of their life and thinking, what did I accomplish here? What did I gain? And then not to mention that kid and his spouse, his wife at home. I have seen people get divorced because of this type of situation, because even the wife at home and the kids, they sacrifice as well, right? They are moving back to the operation and they sacrifice as well. So there's so many deep-rooted, hard problems here that people have to deal with when it comes to these types of situations. So when you're going back to the family operation, yeah, it's fine and it's great to go back, but make sure whatever promises you are being told, you get in writing, because I've seen it time and time again. There's always this promise of going and getting the estate plan set up, for example, and then all of a sudden 10 years passes by and not shit has gotten done. And you're sitting there hoping and praying that your parents remember what they said they were going to give you, or they live up to what you need from them as far as expectations on what assets you're going to get and everything. You're just, again, living and betting your life on this strategy of hope and prayer like we previously talked about, versus really knowing with absolute certainty what you're going to get. And this is a recipe for disaster and long-term resentment getting built up in your family. So obviously the do on this side of things is to hold your family accountable to making sure that whatever promises they talked about, whatever things they told you that they were going to give you by a certain age or whatever it may be, you get those things in writing and you hold your parents accountable to getting their estate plan set up, to getting these things set up, because the cost of them not doing this, somebody's going to have to pay it. It's most likely going to be you. And that is a cost, my friend. I can tell you, again, just from witnessing it, you do not want to have to go through that. It will be so painful. And if you have siblings that are involved in this situation as well, it can destroy relationships with your siblings. And it can happen overnight too. So these are just very serious topics here that you do not want to just take lightly or allow people around you to continue to kick the can down the road. Hold your family accountable to getting a plan put in place, because your future depends on it. All right, guys, thank you again for taking the time to watch today's training. I hope you found it valuable. I hope it opened up some things for you and made you think differently about what you're doing and not doing inside the operation, some things that you can need to fix. Now, my friend, if you really connected with all of these things that we talked about in today's video, this is the exact type of stuff that we help people through and help them solve inside a Legacy Farmer. We've been doing this for 5 years. We've ran hundreds hundreds of family operations through our proven process here. So we know what we're doing and we know it works. Now, if you want to explore that opportunity further, then there's going to be a link below this video. I invite you to click on that link and schedule a free call with our team. On that call, we're going to do some discovery and learn more about your family, your operation, and really the results that you're wanting inside of your life. And at the end of it, we're going to decide whether or not we're the people to lead you there and if we're a good fit to work together. And if we are, great, we move forward. If we aren't, no harm, no foul.